Welcome back to your friendly neighborhood podcast, where this week we're going to be mostly talking about Batman. Aside from a few other occasions, but
we have some news first.
Yeah, first.
And then we will get to that.
News. Well, first feedback actually. Anything? Anybody?
I didn't get anything.
The only feedback was actually within was the camera. We did move YouTube lower. So Instagram's higher than usual. YouTube's
YouTube's
back.
My bad.
You're good.
I knocked over.
YouTube's back to the middle. I think that was a good decision.
This
one looks good.
I think it looked better.
Take
Let us know what y'all think.
He's falling.
You know what? Let me lower this lighting. It's pretty bright.
Anyways, you can see that we changed the setup. It's Batman and his variants. Because this week is Batman week.
Batman. Alright, so real quick, in terms of surveys, I asked 3 last week, and it's more of a percentage of who liked what. The 3 shows were first, Boba Fett. The vote was 78% people liked it, 22% didn't. And then I asked how much did you like it out of the people that watched it, and the range was about 60%. So and basically 1 to 10, they were at 6 on average. For Peacemaker, 92% liked it, 8% didn't, and the ratio was 75% though. So a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, 7.5 out of 10 there. And then for Demon Slayer, 100% of people voted yes, they liked it. No nos.
Out of how many?
I didn't check that.
2.
But you're right. It's 4. That's 4.
Probably.
But in terms of on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 9 out of 10 on the little scale. Next is going to be news. There's a new Pokemon game coming out that was released last week. I think it was the Sunday that we filmed, so we forgot to mention it. But it was Pokemon Scarlet, Violet. The only thing we've seen so far are the starter Pokemon, which I think I might.
They're kind of cute.
Off of right now, I think I'm going to go for the grass type. I've never picked a grass type before, but that one looks cool.
I think the grass type. It's like a cat. It's like a cat or something like that.
What do you usually pick when you?
It's cold in here.
I usually don't play Pokemon, but
What the fuck
I probably go with
is
water.
that?
I usually go with a Squirtle. So I think now, I think I'm gonna change it to the.
Some people switch it up, but I know some people always go only grass, only fire,
some
only
people
water.
are hardcore.
But I did always only water until the last 2 gens. But this gen, I might pick the grass type for the first time. But at the same time, I don't know what the final evolutions look like. So we'll see what I think. Next, the only thing I've really seen off the top of that is Firefly on Batgirl TV show, which is one of the villains. I've never seen that villain live action. So
He's only been in the game once, the Batman game once.
I've seen him in the cartoons and stuff, the animated movies, and he's more of a supporting character. But so the fact that he's finally getting his own movie, he might be the main villain, he might still be a supporting, but who knows? I just saw pictures.
Is it his own movie?
No, not his own. It's gonna be in the background movie.
But he's just the main.
Maybe.
I think.
I'm not sure if he's the main or not. Let's see. We did get an official look at the Spider-Man suit.
That was
From
nice.
from No Way Home.
Look,
We got the
beautiful.
full look, and that looked awesome. That was sick. It's pretty. I'm curious to see how they incorporate
It's
that.
gonna be right here.
Y'all got it?
Can you give
Yeah,
When I edit it.
we'll have it right here
Oh.
on the edited in. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that. Let's see. If you're not watching on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, and you can see everything that we talk about. Because everything that we talk about in the news, we usually post on the spot when it happens. Sonic. We saw the trailer of the Batman movie.
Blue
I'm excited to see it.
I've been excited.
I love Sonic.
I didn't see the first one.
He's one of my favorite video games.
I
watch it.
was hesitant about watching the first one because I was working at a movie theater at the time. So I always saw the end credits because I had to stand in there and wait the last 8 or 10 minutes. So I already knew the ending. I would see the ending and I was like, okay, Jim Carrey's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And then at one point nobody went to show watch it, so I had to go in there and wait to see if anybody showed up. So I just chilled there and watched part of it.
Yeah.
And inspired me to actually watch it.
It was pretty good. It's a decent film.
It's a Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Yeah, I think for the most part, there's always been video game movies suck, and that was the case until Sonic and Mortal Kombat.
And Detective Pikachu.
And yeah,
Detective Pikachu is actually really
I've
good.
never watched it.
It depends how you look at it.
I liked it a
because
lot.
like at this point, Pokemon is not just a video game anymore. Because it was a video game, and then it
Pokemon
became an
is life.
anime, and then it became what's it called? Card game, and then it became the mobile game, and like it's known for so many things now.
Mobile.
It's like, is Detective Pikachu, is that a video game movie? Is it an anime movie? Like
I think it's
brought
just a
into live action?
standalone movie.
Right,
It
it's
has
just-
so
I think
many
it's
different
film.
sections and like I guess you could call them departments.
Yeah, but I think
that-
definitely this has a chance to be a pretty damn good video game movie. One of the best because
I'm more excited for Sonic 2 than Sonic 1.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because it has Knuckles and Tails in it, and then maybe next if there is a part 3, that'll be Shadow.
I've always wanted to see Silver.
Or you see Shadow.
Silver's my favorite.
Silver's my favorite.
Hell yeah. From Sonic Heroes. Sheesh.
Just telekinesis.
Sonic Heroes.
You ever played that one Sonic game with he like turns into like a beast at night? Like
Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah.
I played with my little brothers.
That one was fun. I like playing that one. I like this
Oh,
one.
All right, so that's all for the surveys and news, and then actually, before we get into the review of the movie, just real quick, I wanted to go through this. That way, the podcast has been super short. I'm gonna ask you all 4 questions, simple Batman questions, and I just wanted to see so they can know about what we think of Batman before we get into this movie.
Watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify.
Or Instagram, whatever.
He's gonna
Yeah.
put a little picture right here that says spoiler.
Spoiler right here.
Yeah, spoilers.
Maybe right here. We'll see.
All right, so ready for the questions? These are just 4 brief questions to set us up to get into the review.
Okay, wait, hold on. So is this about the Batman?
This
the
is
Batman
these
movie
are
or
for
this
overall.
Batman?
This is Batman. This is
Batman.
Batman. Okay, so who is your favorite? Who is your favorite live action Batman? Now, currently, to ever have played Batman live action. Who is it?
The 2005 one.
Who?
Which one am I talking about? I forgot his name.
Christian Bale?
Yeah. I
Is
like
that 2005?
I don't think that's 2005.
I think it's 2005.
it was this. I don't
Christian
remember-
Bale wasn't bad.
I don't remember.
But-
I don't remember his name, but
I don't remember the name or the year. Or
No.
The
the name?
name of the
Just-
movie.
I know he was Batman.
I know who he was. I don't know who.
In a movie.
Fuck.
Bruce Wayne.
No.
Wait, who did he fight in the movie?
Peter Parker.
He said no.
No.
Knows nothing about
Anyways.
Batman.
Okay,
He's just here.
I'm just here.
Mine, I'm kind of conflicted between Christian
Fuck.
Bale and Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm at because like Christian Bale was such an iconic thing and like it brought mass popularity to the Batman.
Modern.
Yeah, and so like it was very like a oh shit like Batman. This Christian Bale is probably like the first one to actually do
A good superhero
oh,
movie.
do it right until Robert Pattinson came along and we saw a good Batman.
Another take on that kind of same
Yeah.
sort of realistic
But at the same time,
aspect.
I don't know.
Excuse me.
Something about his Bruce Wayne kind of offset me. Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson's.
I'm gonna get into that
Okay,
later.
okay.
I'm getting into that. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
So favorite, if we're determining 2005, not Bruce Wayne Batman. That's
It's
yours.
gotta be Lego Batman.
Lego.
Lego Batman. Okay, I'll take it. Is that your answer?
That's mine.
Okay.
Actually, from all the animated ones, I think.
I like Lego Batman.
If we're including everything, then I'll say the animated ones. Yeah.
Which one then? DC Extended Animated Universe. I think it's something like
Yeah,
that.
in the DCU, that whole
The animated
that
universe.
Batman.
Okay.
That
Very
one's
nice.
my favorite.
I would say that mine is Pattinson. Before Pattinson, I was like on the Affleck hype. I was like, oh, Affleck's better, whatever. But I only really liked it because he had like the most gadgets and shit. But looking back, I'm like, okay, Christian Bale is better than Affleck. I think in most aspects.
Mhm.
But I think Pattinson's like, I think the essential Batman. I think he really has everything that Batman needs to be and who he needs to be. So that's my answer. Now, next is not who's the best Batman, but who plays the best Bruce Wayne.
I think they all bring something different to the table. I can't really, personally, I can't really pick one. I mean, especially not Lego Batman. He's never Bruce Wayne. But I think that Robert Pattinson brings one aspect to it.
I think we will see more, but I think it's just the fact that it's so only his first 2 years in that he's so like intense with being Batman that he hasn't found that balance yet. That's why my answer for the best Bruce Wayne is Ben Affleck, though. I will answer that because Christian Bale, we hardly saw him as Bruce Wayne, and even when he was, it just was kind of like you can tell that was kind of just to get the story going and not really to do anything
Yeah.
with it. Rather, Ben Affleck was really like actually a billionaire. He was cunning. He used his time as Bruce Wayne. Like for example, when he was throwing parties and gatherings to get people together to get information. Like he was Bruce Wayne to serve Batman. I think at the end of it, what you have to look at is that they mentioned it in the Batman movie. It's like it's not Bruce Wayne pretending to be Batman. At this point now, it's Batman pretending to be Bruce Wayne during the day. Because at the end of it, he is Batman. He's no longer Bruce Wayne anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so hard to look at this new Pattinson, because it's like, okay, he's so invested in it to the point where it's not healthy for him. So he's trying to find that balance. I think Ben Affleck's Batman found that balance, because in his movies he's been Batman for I think over 10 years too. 20 years maybe, something like that. But he's been Batman for a long time, and I think that's the balance there that we needed. Rather, it seemed like Christian Bale's Batman from beginning to end, even when he retired at the end of that movie or died or whatever the answer is, right? He never, ever found that balance of using Bruce Wayne to his advantage. He just did his own thing as Batman forever.
I feel like Robert Pattinson really could have brought, if he had more Bruce Wayne aspects to him and fused that relationship between Bruce and Batman, then he could have been a little bit better, I guess. Not like as an actor, but as a Batman in the Gotham universe. But I think, like how you said, how they focus mainly on the case, and he's Batman playing Bruce Wayne. That really is a good description of the movie.
Yeah.
My favorite Bruce Wayne is probably from the Gotham series, cause like
the young one.
Yeah, cause he's a kid, but even then, like we see him, like just to show off, buy a whole club, like.
Oh, I
like
think
that's cool.
That's a good one.
Like
It's pretty good.
like we see the hardships of him, and that's what we've been telling you. Christian Bale.
But I agree with that. That's a good answer, because I've seen that show, most of it, the first 2 seasons. It was pretty good. And the third question is your favorite Batman villain. Doesn't have to be in the movies, just your favorite Batman villain. Joker?
Why?
Just in general, like it's a cool character. I don't know though. After what we fucking saw, the Riddler makes me want to just like
Kill people. Hell yeah, me too.
What?
FBI, open up!
So
What? Just kidding.
No, but his like I don't know. I loved his character in the movie. It was just something different. It's like something you haven't fucking seen yet.
Yeah, I agree.
does Azrael count?
Yeah, me too, though. Definitely.
Not say Azrael.
Okay, explain.
I don't know too much about Azrael, but like just in what I've seen him in, like in the Arkham games, like the whole like side quest where we had to fight him and then like put him through trial and then tell him that he's not like good enough to become a Robin or whatever, like a Batman, and then like him just kind of like turn.
His story's pretty cool in terms of how he became Batman and whenever he got his back work from Bane, and then he kind of just did his thing, was too aggressive with it, and Batman had to come back, beat his ass, say, hey, motherfucker, you did my name wrong, you did me dirty, I'm taking my role back. So that's a cool story. Nightfall and stuff. My favorite is Deathstroke. I think that is Batman's complete and total equal in every way. Intelligence-wise, strategic-wise, fighting style-wise, in terms of using weaponry, gadgets, like everything, Deathstroke is his equal, you know what I mean? Like the most feared assassin in the world. Like if Batman was an assassin, he'd pretty much have the same level of expertise, if not recognition. And I think if Deathstroke was Batman, he'd be the same type of, almost, if not the same level of that Batman would be. I think they're perfectly, exactly equals. And the only thing that Deathstroke has better is, of course, the healing factor and stuff like that. So that makes him even more powerful and harder to beat. So that's my answer. And I think he's just super cool. He's just sick in general. His suit, everything about
I'm
him.
gonna go with Joker because there's so many different aspects he can bring. Like through all the different portrayals of him, you see different sides of him, and you see how they all tie in together. And maybe one day, maybe not, we'll have one Joker we can look up to and say, "Damn, that's the Joker." that has every aspect that.
I think
Every
Joaquin
character
Phoenix is
played.
doing that right now. Like compared to all the other Jokers seen, like
I would say he's a better one. Yeah.
with all respects to Heath Ledger, R.I.P. But I think Joaquin Phoenix did like
Showed the insanity that is the Joker.
how like society is like.
What can tear someone down. Like, it's that quote that the Joker says in the comics. All it takes is one bad day. You know what I mean? And Joker's had a bad life, and it all led up to that moment where he became the Joker and just fucking went crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it can happen to anybody. And people always say, like, oh, the opposite of Batman is pure strength, or intelligence, strength, whatever. But no, the true opposite of Batman is the Joker. It's Batman's calculated, smart, cunning, strategical. Joker is random, chaos, insane. Like, that is the true opposite to Batman. And I can understand why people like him, definitely. He's not my favorite. I don't even know if he's in my top 3. But I can appreciate and respect that answer because he is iconic for Batman. The last final Batman question is, who's your favorite Robin? Which I just can answer now as Red Hood. What's it called?
Oh, I don't.
Jason Todd.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Robin from Teen Titans Go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Fuck you.
Teen Titans
I
Go.
love that.
Teen
Yeah,
Titans Go.
and I don't even know which Robin that would be.
That
I'm assuming it's Dick Grayson.
It is Dick Grayson.
It is.
Not the cartoon one. Like the cartoon one, but not the.
All right, Batman review.
Batman review.
Batman review. Let me go to my notes.
Okay.
It was an amazing movie. I liked it a lot.
So, if this is your last chance to avoid spoilers,
Fuck out. We were saying.
if you don't mind it being spoiled, go ahead and continue to listen. If you're gonna get all butthurt about it, then hop off. We warned you.
Okay. So I know y'all were saying that kid. Yeah, I think that's gonna be
Yeah.
something coming up
I
important.
don't think.
No,
I don't think so.
I don't
I think he's just some kid.
He's just a kid.
Mhm.
I was just in like a what if?
Yeah,
It was
I
just
think
like, what if?
from what I saw, they were playing really close to source material. So I think if they're gonna have a Robin, it's gonna be like the correct Robin, done the correct
They'll
way,
introduce someone new.
with like
just to-
a carnival. You know, his parents die or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
I think they'll be pretty accurate with it if they ever continue down that route. But from what I've seen, everything was done pretty close to canon into comic books. So yeah. What do you think of the Penguin?
I feel like they did a great job.
He's a pussy.
I couldn't.
I
He doesn't
mean,
like that word.
I think I liked it a lot, honestly, the Penguin, because like Penguin wasn't really like a face-to-face type of
Mhm.
villain. He's more like
He never has been. Yeah.
he has his goons, he has his mobs, he has people that he hires to fight Batman, to go against Batman while he's trying to run things in the background. But then Batman always confronts him, and like that's when you see him kind of like break down. Like he's not really like a big scary villain.
Yeah.
Mhm. And it's accurate too the way he came up is
Mhm.
because he's sleazy. You know, what I mean, he doesn't become a big mob boss simply through. I mean, he's smart and everything, and he knows a lot about like the business and all. But he really came up by taking advantage of other people and like
Yeah.
sliding his way in. You know what I mean? So like, and it's accurate. That's how it happens.
And in the comics, he did the same thing with tagging along with like Joker and people like Riddler, because he was using their fear that they give off into the city to help him
Bro.
get fear for his capitalism.
It's cool how I think they kept pretty true to the Falcone and the families and stuff because they were the old bosses then and now it's taken over, but now because it's a new world, instead of just being regular mob bosses, it's fucking penguins and Two-Faces and Jokers and these crazy characters, right? So it's pretty interesting to see how the
I
power
want to
changes.
know who that was at the very end.
Who?
When they were talking in the jail
Joker?
cells.
Oh.
I think it's Two-Face, to be honest.
I was
But at the
thinking
same time,
Two-Face
I don't
at
know.
first because you only saw half his face.
Yeah,
never
his
saw the
face
other
did
half.
look really deformed. Like
Yeah.
he had like this.
It looked
fucked up.
more than just like that
Yeah.
lip. It looked like his whole face.
That's the one thing about the movie, like, I did not like that at all. I didn't care. I was like, I rolled my
I feel like
eyes.
they kind of just put it in there. It
Yeah.
didn't fit.
It was the
didn't
one
need it.
thing that didn't fit.
Yeah, it kind of like introduced the next movie if there is another movie, but it was not needed.
And even then, they kept it going too long, and it just started cringing because I feel like we've seen Joker teased with like laughs so many times before, and it's like, you know what I mean? I wanted to just like one day I wanted to see a fucking Batman movie where he just shows up out of nowhere, like it would be bad if we don't even expect it, Like all of a sudden, it's
Just
just
random
it's like
stuff.
bam, fucking explosion, and it's like Batman's
he's
like,
just
what
there.
the fuck just happened? And he figures it out, and then we find midway through the movie that it's the Joker been doing it all along. And he thinks it's the Riddler, he thinks it's the Penguin, he thinks it's Two-Face, he thinks
Well,
it's
they
it.
all come
And at the
together.
end of it all, he meets
Hide it.
Joker, and it's been Joker. And it's like, who the fuck are you? And he's just some crazy ass guy.
Bad bitch.
I think that'll be a badass Joker movie, where the half the movie we don't even know who the villain is.
So that's my movie pitch. Your turn.
That's crazy.
Right? But that's my idea. But yeah, I didn't like that scene at all. I didn't like that.
I did think that at first, like, right as soon as he said the Crown Prince, all the, come on, like we've seen so many Jokers already
Mhm.
that I feel like we don't need that yet
Mhm.
until Robert Pattinson's like a bigger
Yeah,
thing
and
that
even
they
then, it's weird because you see the perfect, almost in a sense, almost, if not the perfect Batman, and then just a thrown-in Joker for the sake of doing it. Because now they've limited themselves to they have to be sure that if that was the Joker, they have to keep the same actor that has that same laugh and the same look now with the weird hair. Because it's hard to go back on stuff like that when you have such a successful movie. You know what I mean? So they've constrained themselves a little bit there.
Dude, I
Batmobile.
was about to say I can't get over that fucking scene, dude.
Yeah.
That seemed
Like
sick, though.
it was just dark, and you just see his engine, and that shit fucking turned on.
That's the one time I went pee.
Yeah. Like
He
he saw
left.
the scene. He saw like as soon as the car started driving.
Yeah.
But like basically what happened was they were fighting, right? Like he's helping Catwoman get shit, like,
Yeah.
and then they open up the little body bag. And it's that friend that they were looking for dead, right? And they go, oh shit, and then as soon as they go, oh shit,
Oh
Like-
shit, it's a wrap.
right? And they start shooting, right? And then like Batman gets shot up, right? He's on the floor like hurt, and then Catwoman like is hiding. But then you hear the fucking like the car turn on, and it starts like rezzing, and like it just gets louder and louder, and people are like what the fuck? You know, like what's going on? You know? And then like it just gets louder and louder and brighter with the flames and shit. And dude, it was like just clean. And then of course the scene was just sick too, like the chasing. It was realistic. It was cool, and it was
Chase scene was.
it was action. Like it was in the streets. You know, I don't know. I feel like all the other chase scenes in any other Batman movie, it's like
That was a good chase scene.
well, in this
they
movie,
overdo it. I think this was perfect.
wanna know why? Because in the previous movies they've been doing like CGI, like stunt,
Yeah,
whatever. But in this movie, it was real. Like it was a real action scene. Like they did it all themselves with real fire, real cars.
And that's what I mentioned in my Instagram review. It's like it's all practical. It's real effects, and for the most part of it, the first half is definitely all practical. Not till the end, they kind of get CGI.
Yeah.
But that Batmobile was sick. At first, I was kind of like, "Oh, it's cool. You know, it's there. It's a Batmobile." But now it's like, no, that was like perfect. That was sick. But all right, what do you think of his detective skills?
I think they didn't show a lot of. That's kind of hard.
It's more than they've ever done. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that they didn't show his thought process enough, so we can
Mhm.
kind of see like,
True.
wow, how is he so good?
Like
at
him
this?
putting
He's
it
just
together.
Yeah.
answers the
A
riddle.
lot of it was him
And
following leads.
Yeah.
It was following leads. It was never like.
I kind of had that written down in my notes.
Mhm.
I don't know if we want to go over this right now, but this is like just a list of things that I wrote. But why not? I'll do it.
As it pertains to.
Just
Yeah. So
What I say.
I really loved how like this Batman is a year two Batman. Like we don't see him perfect like he's usually portrayed in like every other movie. Like we see him like effortlessly do everything. Like we
Mhm.
hardly ever see him fail. We hardly
Yeah.
ever see anything. Like we just see him come out with big guns, big gadgets, gliding easily. And in this movie, we see him like when he fell, when he was gliding, and
He
like,
wasn't sure. You could tell he wasn't sure if that was going to work or not.
yeah,
You
and
know?
we see that throughout the whole movie.
And then he
kind of
fucking
like
runs into the thing too.
oh, shit.
He hasn't practiced it. So.
And, like, How he failed to solve the riddle. So like he's not effortlessly like that's it, that's
Mhm.
that. He's like this seems like this would be like the answer, and so he'll go for it. But then like we'll see like how it ended up not being the correct answer.
He's still learning.
Because
essentially.
he didn't put all of it together. He just saw like, okay, like this kind of ties in, so this is the answer, but it wasn't the answer. Because Riddler is like that. Like he's always one step ahead, no matter what.
And I hope that if it does go more, and let's say somehow they introduce this into the multiverse, and you know they bring in other big characters, I hope they make him the fish out of water, where he's in a big world now. He's not just saving Gotham. he's protecting the world now. And then we see him go even crazier with the whole thing. It's like, okay, I'm not just protecting Gotham, I'm protecting the world. Let me create this. Then he
Well,
starts
you see
getting all
how-
the bigger gadgets.
You see how hell-bent he is, like, as Bruce Wayne,
Mhm.
how, I guess you can say, sick
Hmm.
he looks and seems, like, in his acts. Like, him as a person outside of Batman, he said he turned nocturnal
Hmm.
because he's up at night doing Batman, like, 100% of the time,
Hmm.
and he's hardly ever Bruce Wayne.
Hmm.
I feel like it would almost kill him if he to protect the whole world.
I thought about that. I'm like, when does he sleep, right? Because I'm sure he sleeps during the day, but even then, like, he does have to do things every now and then. It's Bruce Wayne to, like, appear. But they said, too, like, wow, they brought, Falcone said, even the one person more reclusive than me or whatever is actually out, you know what I mean? Because you can tell he's never in public. He's probably at home sleeping or, resting for the little bit of time that he gets during the day. Because at night, he's Batman.
And when that girl that came up to him at the funeral scene, where she's like, the Waynes have always done like everything for the city.
Mayor? Or
Yeah, the girl that was running for mayor.
running for mayor.
Yeah, how she was like, the Waynes have always done everything for the city, and like,
You-
it hasn't seemed to be the case recently. Like, I was wondering if we could change that,
Mhm.
and like, you could help me let's build Gotham together, whatever.
Yeah,
And then he kind of just like shrugs it off.
yeah. So,
And then a big fucking bomb comes in.
Yeah.
You know?
the car, His beginning of the movie went from it's all about vengeance to being it's all about hope. I'm not just coming after these villains. I gotta protect the people in the city as well.
Yeah.
And then that's when things start to change. So
And we kind of said that in like a video or an episode or two ago. We talked about like our expectations for Batman. We kind of said like, I feel like this Batman is going to be more internally conflict than any other
and he
Batman.
learned. Yeah, he definitely learned.
And
from that
we
experience.
definitely saw that in this movie. We saw him like battle within himself.
It was probably his first super villain. 'Cause I think up until this point he just fought street thugs and criminals and stuff. I think this was his first person that targeted Batman, in his character, and that's what pushed him
That really
to,
shook
to
him.
learn and
He was
change.
fighting other people's battles. Now it was actually his own battle.
And I think that's what got him to change for the first time. So I really liked it. He definitely had character progression, very, very more than any other Batman had. Because again, Christian Bale, he just stayed Batman forever, and he'd beat up the bad guy. Okay, on to the next. It's like, oh, okay. And he never thought once about changing his life. He never thought once about this or that. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I love Catwoman, or I like her name was Rachel, or I like this and that, whatever, right? Like he just moved on to the next. The story just progresses. But this time, he took this all in. He internalized it. And at the end of it, when he's narrating, he's telling you, this is how it went. This is who I am now. And I like that a lot.
What was y'all's favorite scene throughout the whole movie? We'll start with Felix. Like favorite fucking. It can be action. It can be like
Okay.
them
It
they're
could be
talking.
sentimental or
Yeah,
any
it
scene
can be
that
any
you
scene in
pick.
the movie. Like what was that like scene that just made you like damn, like that was fucking good. Like,
When you turn
When
the
you-
car on.
no, when he was rescuing people with that narration in the back and the beautiful imagery of the sun rising and everybody surrounding, and he's there getting people out the rubble, and he has the flares because he goes out of his way to cut that rope for the electricity, gets in the water with them, and he continues. No matter how hurt he was, he continued on, swam through the
I mean,
water,
everybody just
moved the ship to the side.
Give him a shot of
Yeah, he moved the ship to the side, he got everybody out, and then he walked with them, they all followed him, and then he continued to stay there throughout the entire night into the day, and just lift people out and take them away. And then he stood there and like, he did not leave, their side. Like, I like that. I think that was the scene that we needed, and that was perfect, and that's my favorite scene.
My
By
scene's
far.
the whole, like that whole what was it, like a stadium or?
It's supposed to be Madison Square Garden. It was called Gotham Square Garden on the outside.
Okay, yeah. So that whole everything that took place in that place and
Like
that
the action,
and that
like the
setting,
action sequence.
bro. Yes,
Yes,
like when he
that's
got
my
when he got
favorite.
shot and then he's like cutting like thing like whatever,
He
and
got
then
up and he's like trying to go, but he's just like out of it.
yeah, and then when Catwoman like was getting hurt, that's when he like
Mm-hmm.
pop the fucking adrenaline.
adrenaline and then like
Beating
There was speculation
Okay.
about that. There
No,
was
no,
speculation that wasn't adrenaline.
It was Venom.
it's not Bane. It's not Bane. But
I think it was Venom.
my brother said the same exact thing. He like came into my room. He's like,
I ain't never seen no green Gatorade looking as adrenaline.
No, and you know what? Yeah, it's green for one, and two, It's not the fact that it gave him adrenaline, it's the fact that it made
He
him
got
aggressive.
angry. Yeah, he got really
And
fucking
mad,
aggressive.
angry, like he lost himself, and that's exactly what Bane is. Because Bane is smart, calculated too. He's, he's a tactician. He was in the military, but when he takes that venom, he gets aggressive and not dumb, but you know what I mean. He
Yeah.
becomes
It
more.
becomes more tunnel
I was
vision.
not
Yeah,
expecting that
exactly.
shit at all.
And I was like, that's gonna set something up, and that was a subtle one. See, that was subtle when it played Batman. That's why I like the Joker. But that Bane reference or whatever that was nice. I was like, ooh, that was clean. I love that was a good part too. That was Venom. I think it had to be Venom.
I think so.
But
Now that you mentioned that, how he got like aggressive, I'm like, okay, yeah, that might
He
have
was
been.
about to- he was about to
Because
I
kill
thought
me.
it was
before-
Venom before you mentioned he got aggressive, and it
he
made
sounds busting
sense.
shit out, yeah.
And then I was like, damn, now it makes even more sense.
Because and even in the beginning when he was fighting those villains and he would beat them up, he knew when to stop. Right? He beat them up, punched him a couple times. Okay, stop. And then move on to the next.
And they had to
But
pull
in
him
that
off.
case, yeah, he was gonna keep going,
He was
and
about
that
to
guy
keep
was
going.
not. It was like fucking fucked up.
He wasn't like, oh, you got hit in the head a couple times.
Was that the
Like,
same
no, he
guy
got
from the
hit
funeral
by
scene?
cars.
I think that was the same guy from the funeral scene
I don't know.
when he was beating him up.
What funeral?
Funeral scene, like
Oh,
when he's talking to Bruce.
the
Wayne.
one that was whispering to Bruce Wayne about being rich or something.
Oh,
Oh shit, it
I
was.
think it was.
I don't think. Wait,
That's
Yeah.
a good catch.
The
right
one
there.
where he's
Yeah,
like,
I know, I know.
yeah.
That's
I
a
don't-
good catch. Hell yeah, that's probably was.
I think it
I'm
was.
sure it
honestly.
was.
I have to look at
He
it.
looked familiar. I didn't know where he was from.
They got
No,
they
it's
showed
because
it.
they- they really
I'm like,
focused on this
yeah, I'm like, why'd they focus on this guy?
That scene was
so much?
really sus. Like you just.
Yeah.
Like,
And then he like kind of said something after he was like, he
Yeah.
said something.
I figured, what?
He said.
But 'cause I don't remember what he said. Or he said something about like, I don't know, but
I was sick. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
I don't see any other scene but that Madison Square Garden scene.
Oh,
Yes,
but I
like,
The
love
entire like
the whole like when he popped out the chess piece and it was a battering. That's one thing I wish we kind of saw more was a
A
battering.
gadget.
Yeah, that's true. That's
But I think we're gonna see that in the
Yeah.
his gadgets seemed like
yeah.
he did bare minimums. I mean, there wasn't enough.
He did like the grappling
Action, I
hook,
guess
and
you would
then
But like it seemed like he kind of didn't know how to use his gadget, and I
Yeah.
like that a lot because
He's
it's
still
only
learning.
he's learning.
Like he said earlier, it's his first case against him.
yeah, it's his first super villain, not just the
He ain't using no battering for somebody robbing a 7-Eleven, you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like that shit costs $1,000. I ain't gonna fucking waste it on your cheap ass that's trying to steal 200. You know?
Not even 200.
Dude, his fucking
7-Eleven.
entrance to that stadium was fucking sick though. Like just to see
The-
that,
Dude,
literally the whole movie
Dude,
I was like,
exploding, he
God
just came
damn.
through. That shit was fucking.
yeah, that was crazy. That was sick.
Like I wasn't even expecting it. I thought like I expected him coming, but I thought he would come like.
Okay,
like,
let me
I don't
let
know.
me
I
ask
just
you
started
this:
fighting, but he's fucking
who was the VIP of the movie? Like who was like the
MVP or.
MVP?
Or
Yes,
Robert Pattinson. Batman. Because he was literally like, if you think about it, a lot of it they're like, oh okay, it's a Batman movie, but let's take this thing away here and let's go talk to Alfred. Let's go make sure what's going on with him, or let's go.
No way.
You're lying. You're fucking lying.
What?
Oh my god!
But what happened
It's
is
not
big-
plugged in.
It's not plugged in.
Wow,
Maybe it picked up on here. I don't know.
maybe. But we'll just keep
That's
going.
fucking
funny.
crazy.
We'll just keep going, see how that audio sounds.
If there's any audio, I was like, damn, why did I hear my
Okay.
notification?
If not, it's gonna be just on YouTube
I know. I
today.
heard
Yeah.
it too. I was like,
Oh.
It might be
It never
YouTube
goes off.
exclusive.
Yeah, it's YouTube exclusive.
oh my
But,
Yeah.
Well, fuck it, we'll keep going. What are you talking about?
God. I need to step out.
MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they take scenes and they go back and forth here and there to other people.
I think
But
it hit your
I
phone.
think it hit my phone.
That was pretty nice.
That was hot.
But, but this time, like, every scene had Batman in it. We're all gonna say Batman.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Jim Gordon.
What?
Yeah.
Jim
I
Gordon.
mean, I'm not agreeing like that's my MVP too.
I can see
but
why you're saying
he was
that,
he was a valuable player, but he wasn't the most valuable player,
Yeah.
I think so.
in my opinion.
Because he wouldn't have gotten into anything. He wouldn't have figured out the riddles before everything
Transpired.
transpired. Jim Gordon gave him everything. Jim Gordon was the one that like basically helped him throughout the whole entire movie, and that's what the relationship is. Has always been in every single comic and whatever. Jim Gordon is always there to support Batman when no one else does.
Mhm.
And so I think he was you know what? Yeah, he was the best supporting MVP.
I wasn't spelling issue. I was
Yeah.
disappointed in myself.
All right. So next question I got for y'all is, what do y'all think of like Wayne Manor in general, like his house?
I hated it.
I didn't like
Really?
it.
I think the Batcave was okay.
Yeah,
but
I fucked
when
with the Batcave like hard, but like I feel like
the
they
mansion, they didn't hardly touch any of it.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. Like they showed one scene from the living room. I thought it was pretty cool. It looked very like
It
rustic,
looked
very old
Like
school.
Empire State Building.
Yeah, like I expected them to like go over like, you know how
It is an old house though. It's his like family's family. You know, from the
Family.
beginning of
Yeah.
Gotham. So it's that same house. So I thought it was like, I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's like, you know, nothing's ever changed, and obviously he's not going to change it because he doesn't, do anything ever. So I'm like, it makes sense to me. And it kind of was like, I felt like it was an homage to the original Batman's, where it was that whole like Tim Burton-y style of like things looking. And I'm like, it kind of reminded me of that. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of like a cool nod if that was what that was too. So
I
liked it.
I didn't like the entrance to get into the Batcave. Like, did y'all notice
Mm.
that?
Yeah, it was kind of.
I kind of liked it.
It was
realistic,
discreet.
like-
yeah, it was very realistic.
A big
It
ass
was
fucking like not like a pilot thing or a plane entrance is gonna open up out of
Yes,
the ocean.
Ryan.
I want to talk really bad. Okay, yeah. So, well, you said how like we've seen like all like the big entrances of every single Bruce Wayne,
Mhm.
but like in this one, like it's year 2. Like he's not gonna have a fucking waterfall that leads into a cave. We're not gonna
Mhm.
see
Yeah.
a whole fucking cave.
Like 5 entrances, one for a motorcycle, one for a
Yeah.
plane, and one for
Okay.
he has
Yeah.
a little ass motorcycle.
or like a
Yeah.
lake that opens up and you like we're not gonna see that. And so like this was very fitting for a year 2.
Go to some fucking tunnels, lose them
Yeah.
along the way.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Did y'all notice?
And like it was a Wayne train station, so like he was able to control like what comes in and what comes out.
Did y'all notice when I like how they kept touching up on like throughout the whole movie, just you could see his like engine, like in his
Mm-hmm.
just in his
Oh, working on it?
yeah,
Yeah.
like
Very subtle.
constantly seeing little parts and pieces just
Yeah.
like being put on there, and
Till
then
it comes together, yeah.
to that fucking scene, and bam.
Yeah, because that was his first time probably driving that car too. Because like, that's cool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. I'm kind of going back a little bit.
Okay.
I was thinking about it. So you know how I said like the Madison Square Garden scene where everything, like the visuals, the action, everything is like
Mhm.
my favorite scene.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have that tied with another scene. Whenever they first, this is whenever you went to the restroom, was whenever they started putting everything together, and they decoded it, and he said, "Well, if you take this out, this out, this out," and it says "drive" on there,
Mhm.
and then they noticed that he cut off his thumb,
Mhm.
so thumb drive.
Yeah, that's right.
Drive, you go to the car, you look for the thumb drive, and you see like the tools stuff.
Inside of the fucking
Everything was just, and how they used that thumb to unlock it through the USB.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that was really.
Clever.
I wish they touched on that more.
Yeah.
It was really
that
cool.
was enough, but they could have done more.
Mhm.
It was really cool because that's how the Riddler is. That's how he thinks. He is
Mhm.
sick and twisted, and we see him
Playing a game of chess, he's already a step ahead.
like even though it's odd, like it could have been an obvious answer to someone sick like that.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't. Like it was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's too crazy to think. But then like it was.
It
Like,
also shows how advanced the Riddler is compared to just some 7-Eleven thief. You know,
Yeah.
Wow, look how fucking far ahead he planned everything. He went to the fucking prison and look what happened. He had the whole fucking.
okay,
and that
all transpired
within a day, right?
He had that whole
2
bomb
days.
It
shit
took place in
set
like
up.
7 days.
Yeah,
Is it
that
really?
was-
I think they said from Halloween till
And
November.
he
or
planned it
something.
perfectly, so where everything blew up, that water came into the city and flooded the whole fucking city.
let me ask you this: what do you think he wanted to happen when Batman came up to him? Because he's like, no, it's not supposed to happen like this.
He thought Batman was gonna join him, and like was crazy too. You know, what I mean, he thought Batman's whole thing was save the city, but
Like when he's in the scene, when he's
when
in
they're in
the
the
cell?
talking on the phone
Mhm.
meeting, that's what it was.
I
Because
fell asleep.
like you said, he's
Yeah,
twisted and whatever, right? So like the way he sees it, like I'm gonna fix the city, but I'm gonna do it by killing the corrupt. He thought Batman was the same, so
Yeah.
he wanted Batman to join him, and he thought they were gonna team up and take control of the city
I
and
think
make
it's
people
because the Riddler sees black and white,
Mhm.
good and bad, and he sees clearly. He thinks all the corrupt people are bad, and he thinks Batman's like, oh,
and
good
his
and
500
bad.
followers.
He
Yeah.
thought Batman's gonna dress up like a bat. I'm gonna be like a big ass question mark, and we're gonna be buddies and
Yeah,
do riddles and be detectives and
blow the fucking city up.
Yeah, yeah. So he thought, you know, oh, he thought.
Wait, so do you think he knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman?
Yes.
No,
I don't think
I
so.
feel like he
I don't think anybody knows.
At first, I think that's what they were getting at. First, when I was like, "Oh shit, he knows,"
'Cause he's
but then it's like,
Bruce Wayne.
I know.
Is the
Yeah.
like
Whatever.
is why the city's falling, or whatever he said. I forgot what he said.
yeah, just failing and.
And then we can see the fear in Batman's eyes when he's like,
Oh shit.
"I'm Bruce."
But it goes into his motives because the whole thing, what they were saying, you might
He was
have
going
missed
for the
it.
rich.
The rich and the poor and
Yeah,
People who had power.
yeah. Here's what I gathered. I could be slightly wrong on some of the details, but the way the story happened was Batman's dad, Thomas Wayne, is he a good person or not? Thomas Wayne created a foundation, an orphanage, right, with $1 billion going to
I saw that part.
everybody, right? To other orphans. But as soon as he died, everybody, the Falcones, I think it's called the Maroni, what's it called?
Maroons, right?
Maroni. I don't think it's Maroni.
Yeah, I think it's the Falcones and the Maronis because it's not Falcones.
So throughout, it's like they start pulling money, everybody, right? It's taking money from it, whatever, to the point where now, like, the orphans don't have shit. And Riddler was one of those orphans that grew up, and he was saying, like, oh yeah, we grew up, we had, in the winter we were cold, we had no food, we had, 30 people sleeping into one room, or however many, whatever. So he's saying,
bro, that
so
scene.
basically Falcone tricked him into thinking, or tricked everybody in general, the perception was, okay, Thomas Wayne opened that up just so that all the thieves can use that as like a laundering place. And that's what Riddler's mindset was. Thomas Wayne is a part of that, but he really wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's whenever Alfred cleared it up saying, no, he wasn't. That they started taking from it, that wasn't meant for them. And that's what Riddler had twisted. And he thought, okay, because your father did that and your father's dead, I'm going to take it on you, Bruce Wayne, for bringing privilege, because when we were suffering, you were also an orphan, but all of a sudden now you got all the attention because you were the orphan of the rich. Rather, we were the orphan of the poor and nobody cared anymore.
Yeah, and he kind of touched on that whenever he was going through the orphanage,
Mhm.
and then they show those clips of him in power, and then of course everybody knows he's dead.
Yeah.
And I think that what the fuck was I gonna say?
So yeah, he had a personal vendetta definitely against Batman.
Oh, I think it's kind of because you see a family in power for so long, and they have all this influence, and they're doing all this good, and you don't know how much bad they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
and then they just go completely MIA. I mean, you get like the parents died,
Mm-hmm.
but you also have the kid, and they know he has all the money,
Mm-hmm.
and they know he has power, but if you don't hear about it, they think it's all under the table action.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
that's part
people
of
assume the
Riddler's-
worst that Thomas Wayne was involved in on it,
Yeah.
which he wasn't. Or at least we can assume he wasn't based on what Alfred said.
Yeah.
So
Alfred also liked the Batman. So.
So yeah. So what did y'all think of the city itself, Gotham? How it looked, how it felt, the atmosphere?
Very New Yorky, and I'm not complaining about it.
I liked it. I think
It made sense to
New
me.
York.
It was
yeah.
a mix between Chicago and New York.
honestly,
I liked it.
when they showed the white shot, I was like, the first word that came to my mind was like Metropolis. Like, kind of looked too
We have to think about it. Every city, while it may have bad crime, there's that one part where they keep for tourism, right? Because they don't want, obviously, they try and
there's
say
some parts of New
Gotham's
York
real
that are
nice.
trashy.
Yeah,
But
but
you see the
you go to
touristic
Times
spots.
Square and whatever, they have the parts that are nice, but you go into the streets, it looks nice from the skyscrapers, but you go into those streets and into those alleys.
It's like shit.
Look-
Let's talk about some of the imagery, the visuals of everything. What were some of y'all's favorite shots?
I like my most favorite one.
Ooh, I got
Ooh, there's a couple. Shit, there's the flare,
Mm-hmm.
but I think even better than that was whenever they're slowly zooming in
No, my favorite.
to the water when it's still and they're in there,
and he's like walking.
and it's the red light, blue light,
Mhm.
red light, and you slowly see it fade away as the car is dying along with all the
Yeah, yeah.
chaos.
Mm-hmm.
When he was walking away to go towards Penguin with the fucking chaos behind him, just that flame of all the cars
Oh,
and shit
yeah,
that
yeah,
got
that
exploded,
shot.
and he's walking up to Penguin.
And I like how it
Upside
turned. It's
down.
upside down and it
And it's
turned.
I was sitting in the
it's
back.
like in
I was
Penguin's point of view.
That was
a
cool.
sick shot.
That was cool.
My favorite scene was when the lights come off and like you see the gunfire, like the gunfire,
Mm.
like that whole scene that was
It's
all
a
over.
different scene every.
And he's
like, flash.
taking them. It's like,
Yeah.
and like you see him.
he-
Like,
What the?
Oh, that just scared me.
I tugged on it with my toe. Oopsie.
This fucking podcast, god damn it.
It's okay.
Today's not it, guys.
We just vibing.
You see him like fucking fighting them,
Like
like
he was fighting and
it's just
taking
like-
those fucking shots. That shit
like you
was
just
cool.
see like gunshot, like you can only see like his arm
You can
first.
see it all flying off of him.
Yeah.
Just like it's just like hitting him.
Like you don't
give a
even
fuck.
you don't even see like his full self just like fighting. You just see like an arm, like a leg, and then like
Mhm. Like I said, it's like a
Oh,
haunted
yeah.
house when you're going through
Oh,
a
wait,
haunted
it's not.
house,
and like the
and
strobe
then the
lights.
strobe lights. It
Watch
looks
it
like
again.
they're slowly moving like that, but they're just
Stop motion.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was very
Cool.
well choreographed and
Yeah.
recorded.
They probably did it like that. They probably choreographed it and they said, okay, do this, and we're just gonna have the lights just like flashing. We're gonna have like what's it called? Like you get those
Strobe
flashlights, that strobe, yeah.
Yeah.
So they probably had it like that, and then they just added the effects of the bullets later and stuff. But
Damn.
uh,
Strobe?
so a lot of them that I put aside from I already mentioned the two with the flares and then the rescuing people part with like all that prettiness going on in the background and stuff.
Mhm.
I think my other favorite scenes are anything that involved Catwoman, and him and Catwoman.
Shit, I ain't
The kissing
complaining.
scene.
Dude, like when they like
When
Both
she's
kissing
changing?
scenes? Oh
dude,
my
they
God.
were both good. Oh wow, they were good. Like they were done nice. Like
The cat scene.
the background,
She
the
had cats
sunset.
in her house.
When he grabbed her and they look at each other, like there's clearly chemistry there. And I think when you meet somebody like that, like even if
He's
it's day
smiling.
1 or day 2, and you meet somebody that you know like relates to you and feels like you in a deeper level, they have that no matter how long they've known each other. Like I complain about this shit. Like I was thinking of like Finn and that stupid girl Rose or whatever her name was, and they like she kissed him after knowing him for a day. Like that's stupid. But
For
in
what?
this movie, for some reason, it made sense that even though they only known each
What is
other
that
for
from?
a week
Your mama.
from Star Wars.
Oh.
Like I hated that scene. I'm like, you always known her. She's only known him for a day. Why is she like? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna-
But like, I think for the first time, like this made sense,
Princess Bubble.
and it made sense to me because it felt real.
The ice king,
But
muscle man.
and then at the end
Money
too,
ball.
when they were leaving each other. What?
You feel like Captain Levi right now. Your hair is kind
You
of.
look like fucking Bruno. I can't help but
I don't know who that is.
I'm sitting here looking at you the entire time. I've been laughing for no reason. All I hear is 7 foot, and I'm just fucking laughing.
In the end, when they're driving off from each other, but like he follows her and like they're riding together,
Yeah.
and that's what's sweet.
How he
That's-
keeps
that's-
looking back.
Yeah.
It's,
It's
it's funny because
turn around.
Because whenever he's driving, he's looking like right at the camera, but then they make it look like he's looking at the side mirror.
It's cool, and like he's looking at her, and it's like.
Looks like he's looking at us. What the
Just
fuck?
turn around. I saw a Twitter thing that goes like, Batman's a better man than me because my ass would have turned around.
So I got these are my favorite things, like in no particular order. Batmobile, the bat suit. I love the bat suit, and I loved how the bat symbol turned into like a battering.
I wasn't expecting that.
Do you know what the
That's cool.
what the symbol is made out of?
Touchy.
The guns.
The gun that killed his parents.
You're lying.
I feel like I knew that.
There's the holster was right here at the end.
It wasn't. It was a handle.
Whatever the fuck it's called, not the holster. That.
Jim
You're
Gordon,
tired.
Yeah.
Catwoman, Penguin. He was one of my favorite. Alfred could have been better, honestly. I didn't.
But he was the MVP.
I really liked it.
Oh, you said
No,
fucking
it's
Gordon.
a-
Never
I
mind.
was like,
Right.
Gordon?
I guess it's too mixed up.
No, Alfred.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot sandwich.
But he was there. He did his job. and,
He
like,
did do a good job, but it could have.
I
been
think his
better.
role was to just kind of to get blown up, to get back to do stuff. You know what I mean? Like that was his purpose.
I wanted that.
I think that he could have done a better job
He
as,
said-
I guess,
I would be
taming
fine if he
him.
died, to be honest, but
I guess they did a good job, like using him to tame Bruce or Batman. But other
whole-
than
that
that,
whole
he
scene when he's
wasn't
like,
very-
"You're
you
not
did
my
see that
father."
relationship though. Like you did see it. Like there was a little tension, but then like I'm sorry, you know, you are I'm really close to you. This is here's your couplings. Like I know you're like my son. You may have said that, but I've been with you for so long. Like because it's not just. I think if it was any other movie, it's like oh my god, you just said that, and like there's a whole fucking thing, and the whole movie they hate each other, or whatever the fuck. But it's like no. there's a back and forth because like he's very emotional. And it's like, but then very next hour later, probably you know gets stressed. It's like, hey, I made you some food, whatever. It's like okay, you know, it's like a family. It's a real family.
Another thing I
And you can
like
see that.
is when he said, I can teach you how to fight, but I can't teach you how to do something. I forgot what he said, but that whole scene.
Must have been a good scene. You didn't remember it.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like how he said, I can teach you how to fight, but that's because Alfred was
Yeah.
in the war. Like he's someone, he was in the Secret Service or something like that. And like, I don't know if y'all have seen it, but there's a show called Pennyworth, and it shows a lot of that.
I haven't seen it, but I know the show you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah. And I
I've
think
heard
that's
of
cool.
it. It makes me think like, okay, did he just get his skills from Alfred, or did he still do all that other stuff like Batman's supposed to do, like
I don't think he.
train with the League of Assassins,
I don't think he has.
train with all these people? Because it's like, okay, Batman's gonna get beat up a little bit more than usual.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see League of Assassins until like maybe later, and he might not even train with them. I think it might just be something that, like Talia comes with him, like he meets Talia, and the League of Assassins are after him. Like I don't think we're gonna see him train with. I think it's just gonna be off of experience. Like we're just gonna see him learn in combat with just.
I don't need that
Experience.
backstory to enjoy the movie. I don't need that. I don't need to know how he trained.
I would like
Or,
that. I would like.
I mean, I would like it. It would probably come out nice if they did it right, but I don't need it in order to progress this.
Yeah,
I don't want to see it. I just don't know that it happened. That's my thing. I just want to see like, okay, yeah, he did train with League of Assassins. He did go train in
I wanna
Asia.
see
He
it
did go
before.
train in like fucking whatever country here and there. Because that's Batman. He spent his whole youth training when going around countries, learning all the martial arts. Because Batman knows and mastered every single fighting technique known to man. So, right?
Another thing that I really liked is how the movie left so much room for like expansion and like sequels, and stuff like that. Like they didn't end the movie on like a closed movie. Like it could have.
It wasn't standalone.
It could have gone any way. And I was reading something, and the director of the movie, Matt Reeves, he stated that he doesn't plan on including other heroes, and I actually love that a lot. Like, it's not going to be.
It's not going to turn into the Justice League.
Yeah, he said that he's not planning on it. That doesn't mean it can change. That means it can change. But another thing that I would love to see instead of the whole like Justice League, I'd love to see a Bat family. Like I would love to see Batwoman, Batgirl, Robins.
They just have to come like they have to do.
I think they need to
texture.
introduce, I'm going to say a sub-hero, like Robin and all the other ones, but I don't think they need, like how we said, we don't want the Justice League again.
Maybe
Because we
it's-
saw there's too many different.
And maybe even if they introduce a small character, like a not super high level
Almost where it's,
one,
yeah.
like a Green Arrow. You know what I mean? Like something small like
I
that,
can
to
see
let
them
you
doing
know
Green
that
Arrow.
something like that happens. Like there's a Black Canary.
Like there's
out
other
there.
people there.
Yeah, like
It's not
other
just-
heroes in other places. Yeah,
Sirens.
that'd be kind
The
of cool.
Sirens movie or the Sirens team.
But I think a Green Arrow would be pretty damn cool. It's like like
Because we haven't
more
seen
or less
the
an equal.
Green
You know what I
Arrow.
mean? If not even then, I think a Green Arrow might have more experience because he was on the island for years and trained that way different. And now he's a vigilante too, so he has like that training, like a different type of training. And I think that'd be kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
So, because even then, Green Arrow, well, Green Arrow's rich too. He has his Queen Industries too. So. Oops, sorry, YouTube.
Phone's not even in there, bro.
It looks.
No, it's. Well, I don't know.
So,
Get to the back.
Matt's in it. Oh well. Well, let's just fucking end it. Like we're pretty much done, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's,
Shit
I
keeps
have nothing to
happening.
say.
YouTube's the only one that's gonna get the full video.
Not
if
even.
one at all.
They're looking at us like this now.
Okay, well that's Batman. We liked it a lot.
Yep.
Overall ratings, 1 by 1,
8.5.
8.5.
I said 8.25 in
Okay.
the after movie review,
Mhm.
but I'm gonna bump that to 8.5.
8.5.
I originally said 8.5, but now that we've talked about it and I like think more things clearly, I'm gonna say 9.3.
My original was a 9. I'm gonna say now I'm gonna go 9.31. Let's go. Thanks for watching. Bye.
This was horrible.
Keeps that in. This is fucking stuff.